What is up, For Honor family? I hope y'all are doing well today. Testing Grounds is here. It will be here until October 9th. I'm going to cover all of the heroes that are involved. I won't be discussing the revenge changes, but if you're interested in those, I discussed them in my Year 9 Season 3 Title Update 1 Recap video, so you can go to that and check that out, and I'll put a link to the description, and I'm going to say that a couple times. Here we're going to get into what feats were removed, what feats were added, and do they make sense for the heroes and the game. I tried them all out, all the heroes that is, but remember, nothing is final in Testing Grounds, so make sure you complete the survey that I will leave a link to in the description and a pinned comment below. Y'all gotta make sure you give your feedback. If you care what has changed in the game, the devs give us the opportunity as players. It's up to us, y'all, to take advantage of it. It's going to be Cent, Shinobi, Peacekeeper, and then Zerk. Use the timestamps to navigate accordingly, but first let's go into Cent. Since Tier 1 was Amplified Roar, that's the new one, it replaces Rush. Lion's Roar finisher unbalances. So my thoughts. This is a beautiful thing. Since Lion's Roar was more like a cat with dentures, this at least gives us some serious teeth in 4s. I honestly wish they would give Lion's Roar 2 damage for each hit, or even a 3-1-1, so you at least get some upfront damage if interrupted. Then keep this Amplified Roar Tier 1 as is. All of Cent's tier updates are linked so you as a player will use Eagle Talons more, and it's more beneficial. And Eagle's Talon is the attack that occurs when Cent jump attacks on a downed opponent. Another beauty of this move is if you're fortunate, you may even get an execution out of it. His Tier 2 Eagle's Windfall replaces Haymaker. It's a passive feat where after landing an Eagle's Talon, you reduce an enemy's attack and increase ally movement speed 20% for 10 seconds. As mentioned when discussing the Tier 1 helping you get access to Eagle's Talon, here you reap the benefits of landing Eagle's Talon by applying a 10-second attack debuff. In this one, you can see how Warden's top dodge attack, which normally deals 16 damage, actually deals 13 damage. So that's 3 less damage for this attack. That could be the difference between landing a charge punch and dying sometimes. So I like how they feed off of each other here. Tier 3 is Vainglorious Pugio. Throw a projectile that deals 15 damage and pins for 2 seconds. The cooldown is 120 seconds, so 2 minutes. The best thing about this move is what it allows you to do. If you kick an opponent while pinned, they will become unbalanced and you can immediately go into, you guessed it, Eagle's Talon for your 30 damage. So that's 45 damage you can get right there. I can understand the cooldown being 2 minutes. There's nothing a Cent can do to trim down the cooldown timing of this either. And the symmetry makes sense with all 3. His Tier 4 is Refined Phalanx. Allies nearby, 16 meters they have, gain a 50 shield for 10 seconds and lose all negative debuffs. I like the thought of changing this so it's unique to Cent versus other heroes having the same thing, like a JJ. I do believe this still needs some attention though, especially if they keep Tier 4s like PKs and Testing Grounds the same. Number 1, the AoE should be a little larger. You have PK running around with a passive Tier 4 debuff the size of Kansas. I know it's Testing Grounds, I know. But they are going to do what they can to make that live, because she had that before, but I'm going to discuss that later. The shield area is just too limited for this Tier 4. Number 2, a Testing Grounds PK could literally just wait it out. And I know I'm using PK again, it could be any hero. They can just wait you out, but it's specific for the Testing Grounds PK, because remember, this removes all negative effects. And they can just wait you out. And then the debuff is just going to be reapplied once the shield is gone after 10 seconds. It doesn't make the smaller shield and debuff that effective. You're only going to be able to use this once in Dom, in a close Dom match, maybe twice, so it needs to be effective. If they're not going to make it more effective, changes to Tier 4s like PK's Testing Ground Tier 4 is a must, and I'll talk about that when I get to Peacekeeper's Tier 4. Now on to Shinobi. So Shinobi's Tier 1 is Sickle Cloudburst. This is a new feat. It's a passive feat where you gain 20% attack buff for 7 seconds after completing Sickle Rain. The keywords are completing. You have to finish it to get it. So protect and don't interrupt your Shinobis while they're doing their thing. If this goes live, of course, if this goes live, I have no problem with this move. It's a sizable buff of 20%, but when you think about it, his side heavy finisher being 22 damage, it's only a 4 damage increase with the buff. It's accessible and not overly powerful, and it still stays beneficial. This is the type of feats you want heroes to have. It's a solid Tier 1. When you combine it with Shinobi's other feats, where 2 of them are also passive, it makes a very good tier grouping that he has. Tier 2 is Refined Nakubi. It's a passive feat where Shinobi gains stamina on successful hits. This is not a new feat, it is simply moved up from tier 3 to a tier 2. It makes Shinobi a bigger factor in the mid lane faster, and is an overall better placement for this feat. Shooting stars has been removed, or what I should say is reworked to now be Shinobi's tier 4, as we will see, but it's better done. I say it's better done, but it's done better. Whatever, we're not doing English class right now. So tier 3 is Yamauba. It's a passive feat where Shinobi gains 20% health on successful attacks. Just like his Testing Grounds tier 2, this is also not a new feat. It's just moved up the chain to a tier 3 to make way for a different hero unique tier 4, and we love hero unique feats. This tier 3 along with the tier 2 operate the same, so there's not much to discuss other than this is a good change for Shinobi players, and you can access it sooner, which means you can do more damage with them sooner. Now here's the tier 4. It's called Cruel Helix. The Shinobis will now throw 2 waves of Shuriken, dealing 30% damage to everyone around you. The cooldown is 180 seconds, so 3 minutes. This is not a passive feat. You can do some good damage if you can time it right. I do feel it's going to be difficult to catch more than a couple of people at a time, especially with both waves, but I think the way Shinobi leaps back when the move is initiated will help him get this off. It's some nice flavor they gave to him with this. You can see the AoE is a good size, and you also will injure your teammates with 5 and 6 damage respectively, as you see here. So keep that in mind before you use it. You have to weigh if the ends justify the means, and if a teammate has to take a little damage for the end goal to be success, so be it. I like what they did with this tier 4. Peacekeeper, tier 1 crossbow wound. Fires a crossbow that deals direct bleed damage. The cooldown is 30 seconds. She had this in the previous Testing Grounds as her tier 1. They moved this up the tier list, and I have no problem with it. It does 14 damage total, starts with 2 damage, and then 3 damage 4 separate times over time. So it's plenty of time for PK to reap the benefits. It takes around 7 seconds for all the crossbow damage to go through. Tier 2 is Bleed Armor. It's a passive feat where hitting a bleeding target gives a 20% defense buff for 10 seconds. This feat works really well for her because it gives her better anti-gank potential in 4s. You have to get to her bleed and attack to get it, but it makes sense. A good thing about this move is if your attack is blocked by that bleeding opponent, it still triggers it. This can make playing with bleed sisters like Shaman and Bushi that much more beneficial, and you gotta love that. It's a good tier 2. Tier 3, Sanguine Serrations. It says it's a passive feat, but it's not a passive feat. It works where attacks apply bleed, 5 damage every 2 seconds for 4 seconds, for a total of 20 damage. The cooldown is 150 seconds, which is 2.5 minutes, but the cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds when hitting a bleeding target. So there's your incentive to stay aggressive so you can get your passive tier 3 back sooner. This is the feat that is unique to the Testing Grounds since they did away with any direction deflect that they tried out the last time she was in TG. This, along with her tier 4, is a bloody horror show waiting to happen. Can you imagine dealing with a good PK, not me, and an external Nobushi with these feats? That's a nightmare. And I'm very interested to hear what PK players think about this one. I like the change from the deflect feat. I think this is an improvement. Tier 4, Induce Fear, is a passive feat where nearby enemies receive a 15% defense buff. 15% isn't much, about 1.5 damage on a 10 damage attack. That's not the issue for me. For this to be introduced into the game, PK needs to be punished for dying. Yes, that passive tier 4 needs some kind of cooldown. It can be an 80-second cooldown to account for the revive times in modes like Breach. That way there's at least 60 seconds of game time she goes without it because she died. That's a compromise. I still think PKs will get to take advantage of it because the cooldown is faster than other tier 4s, but at least there's some risk and reward involved. The risk is the timing in which you get your tier 4. If you get it low health and then you die, then that's 80 seconds till you get it back, and then you'll be full health. The point is, each tier 4 should have a measure of risk and reward, and hers does not in this state. She dies, she get it right back, and she has it the entire time. I think that needs to change, even if it's another way. So now Berserker. Berserker was in Testing Grounds before, same with Peacekeeper. Tier 1 Swift Axe Throw. Throw an axe that deals 15% damage. It has a 90-second cooldown, but getting hit reduces the cooldown on the feat by 5 seconds. This feat will replace Storm Trap. They will be moving it up the tier list from tier 3 to tier 1, lessening the damage. I like this one in the first Testing Grounds that they did for Zerk, and the cooldown was 60 seconds. Now they pushed it back to 90 seconds. I'm still fine with it now. I think this will go live. Now tier 2 Blooming Rage is a passive feat where getting hit increases your attack damage and movement speed by 20% for 5 seconds. Let me tell you, I love this feat because it is perfectly in line with what this hero is and what this hero is about. He is Ferana's version of Wolverine.
I'm nothing like you.
We're more alike than you want to admit.
Schnick. A rage monster that comes with bad intentions when you hit him. You guys know how Zerks can be, and it should only piss him off even more if his health is depleting. And I say him, but you know her. I said she goes both ways, but him and her, you can the traits. It can be him or her. All right, y'all know what I'm saying. I noticed that this does add 3 damage on side heavy and 6 damage on top heavy finisher for 36 damage. So that 20% damage increase is definitely confirmed. Now the tier 3 is Unwavering Fury. It's a passive feat where Zerk gains infinite stamina and enhanced light attacks for 20 seconds. The cooldown is 60 seconds. This feat is like a stripped away revenge. Removed are uninterruptible and damage changes, but the stamina and enhanced attacks remain. It does last for 20 seconds, and that's a need to maximize the effect of this feat. A 60-second cooldown for a feat like this is appropriate also, since the gains from the feat are not match altering. It's like shades of old Zerk are returning. Tier 4 is Valhalla's Blessing. This can be kind of a polarizing thing because you gain superior armor and cannot be killed in combat for 10 seconds. The cooldown is 3 minutes. Now, how I really feel about this one is this is one of those you feel awesome for a little bit kind of feats, but it's so short, you have to make sure you pop it at just the right time or it's going to go out with the physical. The ability to cheat death for 10 seconds is a nice touch, and it shouldn't last too long because it makes objective modes that have things like taking out the commander that much easier to accomplish. Now, I really want to hear from Zerk players on this one, and others of course. Do you like what they adjusted Valhalla's Blessing to? You like that they shorten it to the 10 seconds? Is this Zerk in a good place? That's what I really want to know. Is Zerk in a good place with these feats? I think he is. I actually like this collection of feats. It fits his identity, and I'm all about that. Every hero should have a specific identity. Every hero should have the ability to equip unique traits that are not available on other heroes. And I think they definitely serve the purpose here. But like I said, I want to hear from any of you. If you're mains of these heroes, if you're just good with these heroes, if you went against these heroes, I want to know what your thoughts are and what your overall thoughts on Testing Grounds is. So let me know in the comments, and most importantly, let your voice be heard in the survey and on Reddit where the survey is posted. I will have that survey and a link in the description and in a pinned comment below, so remember that. Thank you all for stopping by the channel today. There are many channels you can tune into, and you took the time to stop by this one today. I'm always appreciative of that. Until next time, y'all. Peace.